Everyone, welcome to Law in Depth. Welcome to Hindu Marriage Act 1955 series. Today we're going to talk about the chapter divorce, where we will explain section 13, 14, and 15. And let me tell you that this is, as we all know, that this is the part 2 of the series. And do not forget to watch the part 1 of the series.
Section 13 speaks about the faults or the grounds for which one heads towards divorce. The grounds that leads you to divorce, or the grounds for which one can file a petition to the court for divorce, are adultery, cruelty, desertion, which is the minimum is at least for 2 years, conversion of religion, unsound mind, virulent and incurable form of leprosy, venereal disease in a communicable form, renounce the world by entering in any religious order, presumption of death, which is of 7 years. Now we will explain the grounds for divorce. First is adultery. So after the solemnization of marriage, if one of the spouses have a sexual intercourse, please keep this in mind, that if one of the spouse have sexual intercourse with any other person other than his or her spouse, then one commits adultery. So adultery is definitely a ground for divorce. Now the second is cruelty. A spouse can file for divorce case when he or she is subjected to any kind of mental and physical cruelty. So we need to understand that cruelty can be of only two kinds. One is of mental, and the second is, or the other is, the physical. So the intangible acts of cruelty through mental torture are not evaluated upon one single act but series of incidents. So the act which is mostly the mental cruelty is not just judged or evaluated by one single act. They will only be evaluated by several series of incidents. So what are the examples? Example would be continuous ill treatment and abuse to acquire dowry, and perverse sexual act, like physical hurt. These are all coming to under cruelty. Okay, now it's desertion, which is at a minimum of 2 years. If one of the spouses voluntarily abandons, deserts or deserted his or her partner for not less than 2 years, then the deserted spouse partner can file for a divorce petition. So desertion can also be a ground for filing for a divorce. Okay. Conversion of religion. Conversion of religion is also one of the grounds. If one of the spouses voluntarily converts him or her into another religion and therefore ceases to be a Hindu, then the other spouse can file for a divorce petition. So if one converts him or her religion into any other religion and ceases to be a Hindu, then the other spouse who is still a Hindu can file for a divorce petition. Unsound mind. Either of the spouses can file for a divorce petition if the other spouse has become unsound mind. So let's understand what unsound mind means. Unsound mind is basically what unsound mind is. Firstly, we need to understand that the one who is of unsound mind means being mad, but in general terms. But the word here, it says that unsound mind, one has to be suffering continuously or intermittently from mental disorder, mental illness, incomplete development of mind, psychopathic disorder, any disorder, disability of mind, which includes also schizophrenia, of such a kind extent that the petitioner, the one who is the petitioner who is filing for the divorce petition, cannot be reasonably be expected to live with the respondent. So if of such a kind, if things have gone in such a direction where the petitioner cannot be living a normal life with her or his spouse, then they can file for a divorce petition. Okay, then it's virulent and incurable form of leprosy. One of the spouses can file for a divorce petition if their partner has been suffering from a virulent, which is very harmful disease, an incurable form of leprosy. Okay, perennial disease in communicable form. If one of the spouses has been suffering from a venereal disease, which is a sexual disease, which can be like HIV, AIDS, and all that, in a communicable form or able to communicate to others or contagious to others. So if it is communicated to others, means it can be transferred to others, okay, or contagious to others. If this is the case, uh, then one can file for a divorce. This is also a legitimate reason for divorce, ground for divorce. And now it's renounce the world. So if one of the spouse renounces the world by entering in any religious order, then the other spouse can or partner can file for a divorce petition. Now we come to the last grounds, that is presumption of death, which is of 7 years. If one of the spouse has not been heard of being alive for a period of 7 years or more by those persons who would naturally have heard of it, the partner would have been alive. If the partner would have been alive. So what does presumption of death, this ground speaks about? It shares that if one of the spouse has not been heard of being alive for a period of 7 years, please understand, for a period of 7 years or more by those person who would naturally have heard of it. So if people, those who knew about the other person or the spouse here, let's say, and whoever knew the spouse, if they are unaware, if they are unaware of him to be alive, then for 7 years, for 7 consecutive years, then one can file for the other spouse can file for a divorce petition, thinking that the other person is no more alive. Legally, that person, if that person is untraceable for 7 consecutive years, then legally also it is believed that the person is not alive anymore. Section 14. So what does section 14 say? Section 14 says that no petition for divorce to be presented within 1 year of marriage. So no court is competent to entertain any petition for dissolution of marriage by a decree of divorce unless 1 year has elapsed since the date of marriage. So we can understand this. If you want me to explain it, I can explain it. So no court is competent to entertain any petition for dissolution of marriage by a decree of divorce unless 1 year has elapsed. So only after 1 year, only after only after 1 year elapses, then one can file for divorce petition. So no court is competent to entertain any petition for dissolution of marriage unless 1 year has elapsed. Okay, provided that, okay, that if any application made accordance with rules as may be made by the High Court in that behalf, allow a petition to be presented before 1 year elapsed. So only if there is such rules made by the High Court and the application, the divorce, application or the petition is somehow related with the rules or going hand in hand with the rules, then it may happen that the court may allow a petition or if the court may allow to for the petition to be heard before 1 year since the date of marriage, on the grounds that the case is one exceptional hardships to the petitioner or exceptional depravity on the part of the respondent. So only if it is like very exceptional case where the petitioner is on on a bad condition, or it is very not a good petitioner is not in a very good condition, or it's like very much exceptional depravity on the part of respondent, only then, and also provided that the case is genuine and free from misrepresentation or concealment. So concealment means here is hiding. So if there is no misrepresentation or concealment, means non-hiding, then only this provision will be allowed. Otherwise, it won't be. So I hope I was able to clear this one. Okay, section 15 is divorced person when may marry again. So after the marriage being dissolved by a decree of divorce, and either if there is no right of appeal against the decree, or the limitation period to appeal against the decree has expired, or the appeal has been dismissed, then it shall be lawful for either party to marry again. So what we learn here is, like, after the marriage has been dissolved by a decree, okay, if there is no right of appeal, if the parties cannot, if the party, one of the spouse, cannot file for an appeal against the decree, or go for an appeal against the decree, or the limitation period that is there to file an appeal has expired, or the appeal has been dismissed itself, then it shall be lawful for either party to marry again. So that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, if you like the content, and if you want me to bring more content like this where I can educate you, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow, share and comment. Hope you have a very nice time.